Hey everybody, Wayne Buchan here. So today I'm inside the base camp, and as I've let my battery start equalizing and I'm starting to build out the connections to the other equipment, the DC to DC converter, getting it ready for the solar charge controller, etc. I wanted to go ahead and come inside the base camp, take a look at the power panels. So what I've done is I've gone outside, I've disconnected shore power, I've gone in and I've disconnected the batteries. And so I've pulled the cover off of the electrical panel. And so I want to show you the battery compartment with the battery disconnected and the different pieces in there. And then the electrical panel for the DC and the AC fuses and breakers. And then I wanted to be able to come back in and show you underneath how we're going to get to and work through the electrical wiring. So hang on, let me flip you around and then I'll show you the different pieces. Okay. Now you can see the battery compartment. I've disconnected the negative and the positive leads and the other connections that I have, such as my BMV 712 shunt, my powered jack, and the other connections. So I wanted to make sure there was no DC power coming in to the system as well. So as we look inside the compartment, I'll give you a little bit of a closer view of how it looks from the side. So you can see your bus bars at the top, your charge controller, your fuses. Get a little bit of a view of the battery shunt monitor there. Let me flip you upside down. So this is a slightly different angle, coming in to get a view of the bus bars, of the wiring as it goes underneath. You have the vent coming out of the battery compartment that then goes over to the side. So I'll seal that up once we get in here. And then we'll go and take a look underneath the breaker panel and show you what that looks like. Now, I've removed the breaker panel, and I'm not going to show you undoing the screws, but this panel just comes right off. And you can see in the panel the configuration of what the different breakers and fuses are. So AC on the left, fuses for the DC on the right. If you flip over on the back, there's a handy diagram that comes in and shows you the different configurations, where the DC power is coming in, where the AC power is coming in, what's happening between the different connections to the converter, of how that's working, because the converter is something that I'm going to be disconnecting because I'm not going to be using the converter when I put in the Victron Multiplus. If you look at the fuse panel itself, you can see the DC wires coming in, the converter wire here, and you can tell the battery wiring and connections there. All of your DC fuses. You have your AC lines coming in. You have your ground bars for your neutral and ground. So for your neutrals here and the ground in the back. And then that connects back on the back side, your main power, your air conditioner, and you can go through each of the different ones. So I'll end up reconfiguring part of this because I'm not going to need the converter, which I think is on one of these, and I'll pull that and disconnect that and get that through the inverter. So let's look at the back side. So when you pull this out, it is a little bit heavier than I expected, and you can see there's a compartment underneath that goes over to back over to the battery compartment. Now what was interesting as I started looking at the back of this, you can see the AC wires coming in. I know one of these orange wires is coming in from the shore power. I've got to look to check on the other, so I'll need to trace all of these down. You have the white lines for the AC going out to the different outlets. You have your white and your red coming in from your DC power from the battery. And then what was interesting, wasn't sure that they were doing this, but as you look at the DC wiring, it comes into this bundle, and you can't see it well, but inside of this bundle are little connectors, and those are WAGO connectors. So I had noticed that they had used those over by the water pump, but they've connected the wires coming one direction back to the panel here and just using the WAGO connectors, and they've just wrapped this up so that it's all together in one spot. So I'll need to chase all of this down, go back in, and I'll need to rewire the AC and DC and disconnect the converter as we're using that, and as we look to come back in and put the new batteries in the battery compartments. One of the other items I'll come in is I'll look at this particular shelf. There are actually screws here in the shelf, and so I'll take this shelf out to make it easier to get all the wiring underneath when I go through and I do the wiring. So hopefully that gives you a quick view of how the power is set up between the AC and the DC side. It's a bit of a mess, as I expected, but as we get in and start working through, I'll go through, disconnect, and try and take pictures and videos as I disconnect and reconnect the equipment, show you what's in there and how I go through the process of rewiring everything back to the new batteries. So I hope this is helpful. Click like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Have a great day.